All right. Would you like to see how much it costs to travel through Europe for a month? And we've been traveling in Saranda, Albania for the last little while. And today we're going to be talking about what it costs us to live here for the month of March. And we're going to be sharing our expenses, which are broken down into 10 key categories.
All right, so stick around and see how we spent our expenses and all our money in the month of March. Hi, we are Dharmesh and Kieran from KD Travelers, two early retirement slow travelers sharing our journey and knowledge to help others do the same. Let's travel together. Okay, so let's just first start by stating what our actual budget is. We go off $2,800 US for the month. And then we do need to actually let you know, disclaimer-wise, that is just the living expenses. Flights are kept as a separate budget for the annual amount, so that you will not see included in here. So when looking at these, make sure you account for your travel as well.
All right, should we start with the first category?
Sure, let's get started. Okay, so the first one we're looking at is, of course, our accommodations. It's always our most expensive category, so we like to get it out of the way first. So for this month, like we said, we've been here already. If you've seen our previous budget video for February, you'll know that we were in the same location, and we've broken it out for 80 nights. So the total was $861.17. Now, of course, this month was a little bit more because 31 days compared to last month's, if you go back and take a look, was only for 28 days for February.
And our location is actually amazing.
Yeah.
So we're just a couple of blocks up from the beach. We have fantastic ocean views, and from our balcony we can see across to Greece. The other side of Saranda is Corfu, Greece, and we're also a very short ferry ride to Corfu as well.
That's correct, yeah. We have been in this location for, like Kieran's saying, we're 80 nights, and we're coming close to the end now, so we were extremely happy with it. Not much else we can say. Check out our other video for more details.
Yeah. We should tell people, though, that we've been staying here off-season, so you have to account for rent being much higher during busier season.
Yeah, it is starting to pick up now. We're going into the month of April and heading towards the peak season. So we notice more people out and things like that, and pricing will start creeping up, of course.
Right. Should we move on to the next category?
Sure. Okay, so next we have is our groceries. So for groceries, the total was $221.91. Now that consisted of 19 trips to the grocery store.
I think we do talk about groceries. When we talk about groceries, I should say 19 trips seems like a lot in 31 days. What we're doing different when we've been on the road is, instead of shopping in bulk like we would when we were back home, which was on a weekly basis, we're making smaller grocery trips. And that's why we have 19 grocery trips. We do try to cook it at home as much as possible as well.
Yeah,
right?
And that's the difference we've noticed. Back home in North America, you can buy things actually in bulk. When you go to the grocery stores here, they don't have bulk sections or bulk items. You're not buying that massive cereal box, or you're not buying, 20 or 30 eggs at a time kind of scenario. We know how expensive eggs can get, but here they sell them in smaller portions, right?
Right. The variety that we've been experiencing in Saranda is a little limited than when we were in Portugal, but they've had all of the staples that we've needed. So we've made it work for us for the time that we've been here. And we did notice that there's plenty of fresh produce, and since they're right on the ocean, there's no problems getting seafood as well. And we've usually shop at the local fish shop a couple times a week as well. So we've been getting our fill of seafood while we've been here.
Yeah. I mean, I've been mainly getting the calamari, and then fish-wise, we haven't done a lot of the fish in the house as well, but we'll go to restaurants and eat that as well because it's just more convenient.
Yeah. And recently we've noticed that a lot of the stores were stocking strawberries. So there seems to be a rotation of seasonal produce and fruit. And I think even when we went for our day trip recently, a couple of days ago, we noticed there were a lot of fruit stands that were selling strawberries. That must be something that's in season So if you're locally from Albania, maybe you can put a comment below and if that's in fact true. We were told that there's a lot of greenhouses out in Barat, but we did a day trip out to Vlorë along the Albanian Riviera, and we noticed there were quite a few fruit stands. And I think when we first arrived, we were noticing a lot of citrus stands, like selling oranges and
mandarins are definitely ones that were in season, I think, when we came, but now we can't find any anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. I mean, yeah, it'll rotate, and then if there's something you see that you really like, make sure you grab it and try it, because you don't know if it'll be out of season and you won't find it in any of the shops.
Right. So our next category is dining out, which we always say is John's favorite category.
Yeah, I do like my eating. I mean, that's my favorite thing to do. I mean, when we hit up spot, when we're searching, I'll give you a little bit of sidebar here. When we're searching out locations to go to next, Kieran's usually looking at all the beauty and the attractions and stuff. I'm looking at what food's there. I mean, that's my focus. But we do enough exercising, or I try to do enough exercising to counter that. All right, so now let's get back to the category. So dining out, the total was $390.10.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have that usually into two different items. We have the snack category, or I would say the snack item section, and then dining or lunches, sort of like the dinner kind of aspect of it. So we had 13 snacks, trips for snacks, and we had 19 actual dinner, lunch, kind of actual sit-down meals.
Mm-hmm.
So breaking those numbers down now, I love my numbers. So the 13 snacks came up to $66.99. And then the 19 meals that we had out were $323.11. So this month we definitely spent a little bit more than we did last month, for sure. And why was that, Karen?
We went out for a couple of day trips, which meant that we were eating out meals, and these were full day long day trips. So we were eating multiple meals out for the day. And as we mentioned previously, Saranda has a robust expat community. So we've been very fortunate that we've really felt like we have a family here, and we've met wonderful friends. So we meet them for coffee during the week, usually a few times. And then we've also gone out for meals. And we'll also list, just so to give you an idea of what meals cost in Albania, we'll show you some pictures and also list some prices in them as well. So check those out as well. But I think it's been one of the places that when we've talked about it, we've really felt at home being here because of the community that we have formed. I think it'll be sad. We think, excited to move on, but we'll also be sad to leave our friends that we've made out here.
It's given us that kind of home feeling where we're meeting up with people and you've got friends to chat with and stuff. And Kieran's not stuck with me all the time. I think she's really happy about that. She needs a break.
It's not that bad. Okay, so let's move on to the next category, which is personal care.
Okay, so personal care. So personal care wasn't very high this month. It was only $12.96. We normally have two items in this category, and it's usually clothing and hygiene/beauty. And for this month, it was really only the hygiene beauty item that we actually had any expenses. No clothing this month.
Mm-hmm. And what was the total for that?
The total was $12.96.
Okay. All we were doing was just replenishing some of the items that we needed, such as I needed hair conditioner. I think we needed lip balm and just some personal items.
Yeah, deodorant, things like that. Just the basic necessities. So nothing extravagant in this category this month.
Which then brings us to our next category, which is health insurance.
Health insurance. This is a routine category. I mean, everybody should have health insurance as far as we think. That's our opinion. We do know some people out there that do travel without health insurance, but we can't do that. So in health insurance, it's fairly similar depending on the exchange rate, but it's $221.59 this month, which is standard for us. It's a category that we keep because just in case for those special medical emergencies that we have. My mouth's getting a little dry. Sorry about that, everyone. But yeah, we just pay everything else out of pocket. So this is for those cases where, if I fall down the stairs or cut myself, usually it's me getting hurt. Kieran's pretty safe. I'm the clumsy one. So
yeah. And this one, to keep in mind that the cost for health insurance will vary based on the age bracket that you fall into. And as we've mentioned previously, we are slightly over 50, so our cost is a bit more than if we were younger. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So moving on to our next category, which is medical care.
Medical care. Okay, so this is the sort of the out-of-pocket stuff that we'll pay for if we go to an appointment, a walk-in clinic, any of that kind of stuff. If we go for some dental or anything like that, that would fall into the medical care side of things probably. And we had zero. So the total for this month was $0 for medical care.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, knock on wood, it stays that way. We prefer that this category stays zero as much as we can.
All right, let's move on to entertainment, which is what we've been doing quite a bit this last month.
So this category definitely was higher than last month. We actually, as Kieran mentioned, and we've mentioned already, that we've gone on some day trips. So for entertainment, the total was $223.50. That consisted of, I think it was around 3 day trips for us. That's correct.
Yes.
So you can start off with the first one, I guess.
We went for one of our day trips. We went to the town of Permet, where we got to see the actual town, and then we also made a stop at the Yosa Twin Waterfalls. And if you're in the area, people often talk about the Benja thermal baths, which is a part of the Yosa waterfall. It's part of the Yosa River, and that costs us. We'll just tell you the pricing in euros, and we can list the price in once it's been converted to US dollars. So this one was 35 euros. 35
euros, yeah. And a key thing about this one is, and we got caught off guard when there is a video, so make sure you check out the video on this day trip. There'll be a video on all the day trips actually, so just keep an eye out for those. The thermal baths weren't actually as hot as we thought they were going to be. So that was a bit of a shocker for us. We were first time going to a thermal bath, and we were looking forward to it. Great experience.
Yeah. Do
not regret it. Definitely go. It is definitely beautiful and worth it, but don't expect it to be steaming hot thermal baths. It was all right. It was warm. Lukewarm. It was lukewarm, but still stunning and definitely a must go to see for. And we would go again for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So then the second day trip that we went on was the Albanian Riviera, which consisted of, we had a driver that took us out, and he stopped at the Borsch waterfalls area, and we saw the beach from a distance. Then we went to Himara, and we walked the town there, and then we also saw I always get this wrong. How do you say that castle's name again, Karen?
The Castle of Porto Palermo.
Palermo. That's correct. Yeah. I'm still learning to say things, but that's okay. And then this package cost us 30 euros per person. So, for a couple, of course, that's 60. Definitely a great, beautiful sight to see going up the coastline. I recommend it. These day trips that we went on, we are paying, these are actual drivers, and we took like a personal tour with a group of people, not just the two of us. You can do it for less. You can actually go by bus, but we chose to, because we were going with other people in a group and things, and we wanted to have that freedom of stopping and seeing things along the way, we chose to do an actual driver.
Yeah. I think for me, I prefer the way we did it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you want to try to cut some costs, they are like Drum said, you can do it on your own. There's buses from Saranda that go to all of these different locations.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can stop at all of them in the same day. That would be the other
That'd
issue.
be the only other concern, because of course the buses only run at certain times, so you might not be able to get to everything down that we've talked about, or you'll see in our video all in one day. But if you have extra time, then you can go on multiple days, of course.
And if you're walking along the promenade in Saranda, you'll notice these tour packages. There's signs for different companies that are doing them, so there's plenty of places that you can pick them up from as well.
Yeah.
And then we recently went on a date trip to check out Vlora, which is another coastal town.
Yeah.
and that cost us 40 euros.
Yeah, well, I'd say more than it's actually a city. I'd say it's a lot larger than Saranda. A lot more people, a lot more stores, restaurants, things like that. But definitely a bigger location. If you like being in a city, Vellore is definitely like the place to be. I think Saranda's more quiet, at least off season right now, more quiet.
Yeah. And then we actually did 4-day trips. So we also went to Semil Beach.
Oh yes, Semil, that's right. We did do Semil, yeah.
Which is adjacent to Saranda. And we did that one by bus.
By bus. It's so close by. It's just a quick little, I think, like 20 minutes or less probably by bus. Yeah. And that only cost €1.50, I guess, if you want to say. Per person.
Each way.
Each way. Right. So that's very inexpensive. So yeah, this month our entertainment category, which normally isn't usually high, was pretty good.
But well worth it. Well worth it for the money that we spent.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that brings us to transportation.
Okay, so transportation, not a lot. We've been doing a lot of walking here. So our total for transportation, we do have it, which is $57.88. Now, this is, like I said, we do a lot of walking here. When we're in Saranda, everything's close by. We don't need to do a lot of transportation. But this is actually our ferry tickets. When we're leaving, we have to ferry over to Corfu to catch our flight. So we pre-purchased our actual transportation to get across.
And then the bus tickets to Semil Beach is included in this as well.
Yeah.
Right. And so let's go on to our next category, which is miscellaneous.
Okay, so for miscellaneous, not a lot here again. We have a total for miscellaneous of $6.54. This only consisted of basically our bank fees. We didn't have any miscellaneous items or anything we purchased, but it was just our bank fees. And this was more because we've been using our Wise card here. So just sort of topping up and actually tapping with it because it needs to convert to LEC.
Right. And so that brings us to our last category, which is our recurring costs.
Okay, so recurring costs. Now, recurring costs, we always have our 3 items that are in there. Cell phone, our media and subscriptions, and our life insurance. Now, nothing changed from our last month. Last month, as we mentioned, we didn't have any cell phone data. We still have been able to survive in Saranda without it. So we're actually happy. Our total for cell phone is $0.
The nice thing about Hue is if you do choose not to pick up your cell phone data, when you're out, a lot of the restaurants and cafes do have Wi-Fi. Yeah. And if they don't, you can just ask them and they'll log you in.
Yeah, they'll let you use their Wi-Fi. So they're very nice and friendly about doing that.
Yeah. Just remember to use your VPN if you're using public Wi-Fi.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next item is the media and subscription, which doesn't change month to month. And this month it's $28.47. Once again, this item is for our media. So we're talking for our cloud storage, for our Prime, Amazon. Need to keep up my shows. I love watching my TV, so I need to have those. And then the other item is life insurance. We have kept our life insurance for the meantime, and it is $73.49 for the month.
Right. So that's not a lot for recurring costs, right?
Nope.
Yeah. So that brings us to, that was our last category.
That was it. That was our spending for the month. Bit of a shocker now. So I guess what you're waiting for is the grand total. So the grand total for the month was $2,097.61. So yes, we did spend more than last month. Last month, if you please go back and check, was really a shocking amount for us. We were way under budget. We still are under budget, so we're happy.
Right.
What's the percentage this month?
We're about 25% under budget.
So 25%. We're still
which is really good.
We're happy with that.
Yeah.
Not the 40. Who I can't remember what it was. I'll have to go back and check. It was around 40 some odd percent last month, which was great. So once again, not bad.
Yeah. I mean, we know it's slightly higher because we did day trips, which we didn't do in February, but that was also weather related.
Yeah.
And we as we mentioned previously, you can really control that as well. If you take local buses, it will cost you a lot less. You wouldn't spend as much as we did. And then, of course, when we do the day trips, we did end up eating out on those days. Yeah. So then the cost for those goes up as well. But for us, like, the convenience of having a private tour guide was fantastic, and also being able to go with the community, with the group that we were in, was really nice.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to look at it, it was definitely because of his weather. We didn't go last month, and the weather's better this month. That's why we held off. You could, if you're here and you've got time, you can spread that over your stay, so you can also control your budget that way. So it doesn't, it's not higher in one than the other, but it all works out.
Right. So I think overall, like, we're pleased with it, because this, again, like, as we've mentioned previously, we're happy with how we've started off 2025 being under budget, because this is going to allow us to spend a little more, because in the upcoming weeks, we're going to be in more expensive European countries for the month of April and May. So being under budget the first 3 months will really help us for the next couple of months.
Oh yeah, definitely stick around for those videos and breakdowns. Like I said, Kieran has mentioned, we're going to be looking at places like Paris and London. So definitely we'll bring you what it cost us. So keep an eye out for those. Hit the notification button.
All right, so that's our full breakdown of what it costs us to travel for the month of March. We've been spending our time, as we said, in Saranda, Albania. We hope this information's been useful for planning your upcoming travels to the area. And we would also love to hear from you. Let us know if this information's useful, and we'll keep making these monthly costs videos as long as you are finding them to be useful. And we'd love to hear from you. If you have any suggestions on places that we should visit, or also topics that you would like us to cover, please share them in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our upcoming video. Thank you so much for watching, and let's travel together.